Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let me know in the comments down below what you want to see me veganize next. I love to hear from you guys. Today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to make 3 quick and easy skillet meals. These are all whole food, plant-based, and oil-free vegan recipes. And we're going to get started with my first recipe, which is my bean, potato, and pepper Mexican skillet. So to start this recipe off, we're going to dry saute some green bell pepper, some onion, and some diced potatoes. Now, dry sauteing is pretty simple. You're just going to use water and vegetable broth as needed, and this is going to replace your oil in your recipe. If you're not familiar, you can go watch some of my other whole food plant-based oil-free videos, and I talk a lot about it more in those videos. So we're just going to mix this all together, and we're going to dry saute this for about 3 to 5 minutes. So now that our onions have had a chance to cook down, we're going to go ahead and add some fresh garlic. This we're only going to mix around and cook for about a minute until everything is fragrant. And then we're going to start adding the remainder of our ingredients. So here I have some vegetable stock. I'm just using some of the organic Better Than Bouillon base. It is oil free. And then we're going to add some tomato sauce. And then we have some seasonings, and I'm going to be adding in some coriander, some pepper, and some cumin. And then we're going to add a little bit of Bragg's liquid aminos. You could use coconut aminos or tamari, of course. Then I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to add in a bay leaf, and then we're going to put a lid on this, and we're going to simmer it for about 10 minutes. Now, you want to make sure that you leave the lid on, but do open it at least 1 to 2 times just to stir it around and make sure that nothing's sticking to the bottom of your pot. So after about 10 minutes, we're going to remove our lid. We're going to mix that up a little bit, keeping that bay leaf in there. And then we're going to cook this down for about 8 to 12 minutes. It just depends on your pot and everything. The liquid will start to absorb and evaporate a little bit and thicken up, and that's what we're looking for. So we're just going to go ahead and keep stirring it though every couple of minutes just to make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom of the pan. So now that everything has thickened up, your potatoes should be nice and soft, and this is ready to serve. This is so delicious by itself in a bowl with some greens. You could serve this with some corn tortillas. I love to squeeze a little lime on top, and then I like to serve it with some greens and some salsa in a bowl. So you can really just do whatever you like to do with your Mexican food with this one. So let's go ahead and get into this next recipe. This is my quick and easy mushroom stroganoff. This is super creamy, super delicious, and super hearty. And we're going to go ahead and get right into this recipe. So for this one, we're going to start off with our pan on a medium-high heat, and we're going to do a dry saute on these onions. I talked about it earlier, and as always, you can watch one of my other videos to reference this if you're not familiar. And of course, if you ever have questions, you can always DM me on Instagram, and I'd be happy to answer them or walk you through it. Now, we're just going to go ahead and saute these down until they're nice and translucent. So now that our onions are nice and translucent, we're going to go ahead and add some baby bell mushrooms. We're going to go ahead and cook these down until they release all their moisture, and then that moisture kind of all absorbs. I am going to add a little bit of water here at first just to get it going because I'm impatient and I was filming, but you don't have to do that. So now that our mushrooms have cooked down, I'm going to add some fresh minced garlic, and then I'm going to season this with some thyme, and then I also have some pepper. And then we're just going to mix that up, and we're just going to cook that down for about a minute just until everything is nice and fragrant and well mixed together. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some 100% whole wheat flour, and this is going to act as our thickener for our cream sauce. And then we're just going to give that a good mix and make sure that it's kind of all incorporated and absorbed all of the liquid that's left in the pan before we move on to our next step. So now that our flour is well mixed and absorbed all of that moisture, we're going to go ahead and add in some vegetable broth. You want to make sure that you mix this really well so you don't have any clumps and that your sauce is nice and creamy. So you just want to keep mixing and scraping all of that stuff off the bottom until everything is well incorporated. Then we're going to go ahead and add some Bragg's liquid aminos. Of course, you can use tamari or coconut aminos, whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with. And then we're going to go ahead and give that a good little mix. And then we're going to add in some plant milk. Oat milk works best for this as far as creaminess goes, but soy milk, almond milk, all of those work as well. I have tested them. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our pasta. You just want a spiral pasta that's compliant. I'm using this Rotoni chickpea pasta because the only ingredient is chickpea flour. And then I'm going to give that a good mix. And then we're going to place the lid on top and we are going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes. And of course, you want to make sure that you open your lid every few minutes and give this a good stir and make sure that nothing's sticking to the bottom of your pot. Basically, you're waiting for it to thicken up and for your noodles to cook all the way through. With these chickpea noodles, they only took about 8 minutes, but with regular whole wheat pasta, this usually does take me about 10 minutes. Now that my pasta is cooked all the way through, I'm going to go ahead and add some nutritional yeast. It's important to note that you should add this at the end because nutritional yeast can sometimes act as a thickener and you don't want to add that in too soon. So then I'm just going to give this a quick little mix and it's ready to serve, guys. This recipe was super quick and easy and I'm excited for you to try this one. It came out so creamy and delicious. The only thing it was missing was some parsley, so we're going to go ahead and top it with some. And that's it for this one. It's super creamy and super hearty, and you definitely have to give this one a try. So let's go ahead and get started on our last recipe. This is my Italian soy curl and zucchini skillet. This recipe is super light and super refreshing. It has some lemon and I'm super excited for you guys to try it. I know a lot of people are going to have zucchini and squash and kale in their gardens coming up, and this is a perfect way to use those up. So let's go ahead and get right into this recipe. Now we're going to start off with our pan on a medium heat. We are going to cook some soy curls. I've already rehydrated these in some vegan chicken broth. I've showed you how to do that in other recipe videos. So any of my other soy curl videos, you can go reference those to see how I do that. You're going to want to make sure you squeeze all of that moisture out because we're going to cook these down in the pan and then we're going to remove these from the pan and then we're going to cook our veggies and add this back in later. So we're just going to cook these down till they have had about 4 to 5 minutes to cook and have started to brown up. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we're going to go ahead and remove our soy curls that they've cooked down and we've browned them up a little bit, and we're going to set those to the side. So now we're going to go ahead and cook down those veggies in our pan. You want to cook them down until they're soft but not smushy. You want to have a little bit of a bite to them. You just want to give them a little bit of tenderness and cook down that kale. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But while those are cooking, we're going to go ahead and start on our Parmesan cheese for this recipe. We're going to make a cashew Parmesan cheese, and we're just going to use some cashews, some nutritional yeast, and then I just have some garlic powder and salt. Obviously, if you're avoiding salt, you can leave that out. Just for me, salt always enhances flavor, and it's not something that I need to avoid for my specific diet. So we're just going to go ahead and mix that up, and once that's well blended, we will have some quick and easy vegan Parmesan cheese. You just want to make sure that's blended up until the cashews are completely powder-like. And then we're going to go ahead and set that to the side and get back to this part of the recipe. So we're just going to continue to cook this zucchini and squash and kale down until everything is to the desired tenderness. So now that our veggies are cooked, we're going to go ahead and add some Italian seasoning, some garlic powder, and some onion powder. And then we're going to give that a good mix. And then we're going to add in our soy curls. And we just want to mix everything together and warm the soy curls back up and allow everything to kind of marry together with all of those flavors. About 2 to 3 minutes. Once that's had a chance to warm up your soy curls, we're going to go ahead and add some fresh lemon juice. Now, this is what really gives this dish the flavor. My brother and my husband go nuts for this lemon flavor in this dish. So do not skip that step. This is a super crucial, important part of this recipe. Now it's time to go ahead and add in some of that vegan Parmesan cheese that we made. Now you're not going to need all of it for this recipe, so you can save the rest in your refrigerator, and it's perfect on so many dishes. So we're going to go ahead and just mix this up. I've turned the heat off and it's ready to serve. Like I said before, this dish is so light and refreshing. This is a great dish to try and impress your non-whole food, plant-based, and oil-free friends. If you don't have access to soy curls, you could substitute some tofu or even some great white northern beans in this recipe. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And as always, if you make one of my recipes, I'd love to see it. Tag me on Facebook or Instagram. You can always message me on Instagram if you have any questions, or leave me a comment down below. You can also find me on TikTok, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.